Hi everyone, this is Yosmith. I also go by Yosmith the Dog Star as my stage name and artist name. And I'm making this video because the other day I came across my old video from 16 years ago when I performed with Marina Abramović at the Museum of Modern Art, MoMA, the show called The Artist is Present. It was really interesting because it was my segment as a re-performers, Marina's performers. We call that re-performers back then because we were performing Marina's old work. And I was one of the re-performers back then, and they had a highlight on me on HBO series, which I saw that it's got almost 1 million views. And after that, which made me start my YouTube channel, and I haven't really posted anything or, focused to grow my channel or anything like that. But after I saw that video, I'm like, oh wow, like maybe I need to make another follow-up video of like what's going on in my life after 16 years of that experience. And just also wanted to talk to you about some things in my mind and also what kind of like led me up to that moment as well. So it's like a past, present, and I guess more past. Lately I've been feeling a lot of my past is kind of getting released. I don't feel like myself. A lot of old ideas and old concept about myself is kind of crumbling away. Same thing as how the world is changing very rapidly. So I wanted to talk to you about these changes in my mind, in my internal state and also external state, and also in my history. My work is transformation. That's what I say in my artist statement. So I'm constantly evolving and constantly changing. And I think that we all are. And that's the huge theme of my performance and also my work that I realized. So in 2010, I had a long hair. And now I don't have a hair. So that's a change. That's the reason why I got picked by Marina, because I had a beautiful long hair, and she had a piece called Relation in Time, which they tie the hair together with two people in a ponytail but knotted together, so facing like outward, so hair in between. So I was doing that performance. I was re-performing that act. And yeah, that was the very reason that I got chosen to do the show. And also, I just wanted to tell you a little bit about like the story about my hair and what that meant to me and what it's meaning to me right now. And then why I cut my hair and all that. So I'm gonna unpack. So basically it's a story about my life and my creative journey and how I lived my life and how I'm gonna live my life from now on. And yeah, so in 2010 I lived in New York City, and now I live in Los Angeles, which is my home. And my family's here, and I've been living here since I moved from Korea. I was an immigrant as well. So 1989 I came to United States because the biggest reason I moved here is about my identity, because being queer or gay or homosexual or trans, whatever that is, because I feel like I'm all of that above, not just one thing, but it was supposed to be like a mental sickness. They were teaching in university that we are mentally sick, so we have to be treated at the mental hospital. That was 1989, not too long ago, right? And that was the first kind of information that I gathered around my identity. So it shocked me, and all I wanted to do is just like get out of there. Something inside was telling me I need to get out of here. Otherwise, I'm not going to be happy. So luckily, our family had a opportunity to come to United States as immigration. And I was really, really pushing my family that I really want to move to America. Of course, my family didn't know any background story, why. But for me, that was the biggest reason. Because if I stayed in Korea, I'm not going to be happy. I can't live with that oppression that there's something wrong with me, that I have to be hospitalized. So my whole family moved here, and also it's the economic reason and educational reason. Back in the days, 1989, it was like politically, like we had like military dictatorship, a lot of student demonstration, very unstable situation, and a lot of corruption in Korea as well. So if you have money and power, you can go to any university, and if you don't, you can't. So that kind of dynamic is also playing. So my family, my mother and father wanted to offer us a better situation and education, getting education. So we decided to move to America. So I was very happy. Back then I studied fashion because in Korea, being an artist is kind of like a very expensive thing. You know, you have to pay for a lot of like art lessons, etc. Like only the rich family can afford to be an artist, which is very different from the situation here. So I knew I was creative, but I just never had a chance to like study art like properly. So when I came to America, I wanted to study fashion because that's very artistic, but also as an immigrant, the survival is a big issue that we have to face, because my family wasn't well off, and which is a part of the reason that I moved to America. So I went to fashion school, and then I graduated like in a couple of years, and then I got a job, and I was very happy that I'm progressing and also being naturalized in this new situation, like new world, you know. It's like when I was 19 back then, and I felt like I was like reborn in like a whole new life, because I didn't speak the English, I didn't know anybody. So it's like being exposed to the new situation. And I guess that's what the immigration is, being a foreigner. So I was in fashion about 10 years. I had my own line. I worked for many, many different like companies, manufacturers as a fashion designer and also pattern maker. So around 10 years, and also back in the days, like LA fashion is not really fashionable. It's like making mass production t-shirts and garments. It's more like a garment business. So my creative soul was not happy about being in this fashion business, which is all about just money and power and consumption and status. And I kind of like knew, oh, this is what I'm getting into, and I wasn't happy with it. And I just realized I was just doing it for money. And I was becoming like almost like 29, 20, almost 30. And And I was really not happy about my career and about my life. But the good thing is, after living in 10 years in America, like, you understand how to survive, and I survived. And now I know how to make money. So when you're in that situation, you kind of think about what you really want to do in your life. You know, when survival is not the main issue, then you think about yourself, right? So I started doing a lot of soul searching. And at the end of my career, fashion career, I started designing for like K-pop stars. And when I saw them, and it was much more exciting to create like outfits for K-pop stars, because it's much more creative than designing t-shirts and garments. And then what I saw was like, I don't want to design for them, I want to be them. You know, I think it's because it's coming from my mother. My mother was a singer, like a frustrated singer. In 1950s, she wanted to be a female singer, but becoming a female singer was equal to being a prostitute in a social hierarchy that's very Confucius and patriarchal and conservative. So she was forcefully stopped singing by her brother, because he said, you know, whatever you're doing is a shame to the family. Woman should just get a husband and go on with her life with, you know, serving her husband, etc., which is, you know, which is very hard to understand these days. But, you know, that was also like 50, 60 years ago, you know, we were living in that system. So my mom had to stop. You know, she's got kind of like beaten up sometimes. Also get dragged out of a performance when she was performing at some kind of like a jazz club in Korea. And her brother came and, you know, stopped the show and took her home. So that was the end of my mom's career as a singer. Which you know, it's very fucked up in a way, right? And she married my father and became a housewife, and I was born. And then my mom was singing when I was young. I could hear all her beautiful, like, you know, French songs and jazz song, American song, and that's how I grew up under that influence. I think that's why the singing was in the back of my mind. So when I saw the K-pop stars, it really triggered that vocally expressing side of myself, and oh, I want to be them. So about living in United States about like 7-8 years, I decided to move back to Korea to become a K-pop star. It was 1997, and I wanted to do something very, very electronica and gender bending, and Korea wasn't ready. So after a year of trying to cut the album, they just didn't understand who I was as an artist and what I'm trying to do, and all the songs that I'm getting is like all this cheesy Korean pop song, and fights after with my producers. Like one incident, I got locked up in the recording studio, and then we had some conflicts, the producers and me, and then I was also getting beaten up in the recording studio, inside the recording studio, like nobody can hear. So isn't it funny, like how my mom's voice shut down by this patriarchal force, and also my voice trying to be a K-pop star is getting shut because of who I am, and this feminine energy trying to express herself by voice is getting shut down. Like two generations, my generation and my mom's DNA. So I just found that very interesting, and it became the whole like an artist statement from then on. You know, what I'm trying to do is like not just trying to be a star or trying to be a singer. I'm trying to heal the family DNA. But let me tell you something, is that family DNA just my family DNA that needs to be healed? I feel like it's a universal DNA that needs to heal on earthly plane. So that became kind of like my intention and motto to be an artist, to express myself and express my mom's dream through myself. I moved to New York after training about 10 years. I wanted to be a performer, and the Korea thing didn't work out, so I came back to LA and working in fashion again, and wanted to pursue the other dream, which is being a performer and singer. And so I was trained in physical theater, specifically corporeal mime, and then I studied traditional Korean music like pansori and minyo, etc. as a vocal training. And I work with Rachel Rosenthal, which is a very, very famous performance art, like feminist movement, like teacher. So I was getting nourished by all these different like Western ideology about being a performer, and also my Korean music as my training. And I was also working full-time in fashion because I had to make money while I'm doing training. So I was living kind of like this two life of, you know, being a performer and kind of like still having my foot in the fashion, which was very hard. And then later on, I kind of quit fashion, like stop making money and fully dedicate myself to become an artist, which was also very hard because I was fucking up all my credit. I couldn't pay my bills because training takes a long time. And you need commitment, you know, to work with all these masters. Like, you know, it's not like, you know, you can just take 1 or 2 classes. It's like years of dedication, like 6 to 10 years of dedication to learn one form. So I sacrificed my earning money, income, and then I dedicated myself to become an artist. So the training went on about 10 years, and after 10 years, I had a chance to work at the nightclub in New York. So I moved to New York, 2007. And I started performing at this club. You know, just like I just needed to do anything to get myself out there as a solo performer because I've been training for such a long time. And now I wanted to like make money and also like get myself shown out there. And New York was the perfect place for it. So if you can make it in New York, if you can make it in New York, you can make it anywhere. That's what I heard.